Hey, I want to welcome everybody to a special edition, Steelers pre-snap. I'm your host, Luther Dupree. I got my co-host, as always, on screen, Claudio Rosano, and Smokin Jim is with us by phone. We're still trying to get his Obama phone set up with us. Hopefully, we'll get that soon, Jim. Jim, you with us still?
Yes, sir.
Hey, let's start off with our Steelers recap. We had the Raiders. I'll start with you, Jim. What were your thoughts? And did you have us winning because we didn't get a chance to do the live show? What were your thoughts, Jim?
Yeah, I had the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this one. I was very impressed with Jimmy G. Hey, listen, it was a good all around effort. I like the way Levi Wallace played. He has no pressure of any competition behind him.
Oh.
I thought that. Again, All-Pro Dan Moore destroyed another Pro Bowl player. The San Francisco great player only had one tackle. Darren Miles only had one tackle, and Crosby only had one tackle. So Dan Moore's doing his thing. I think that I thought that Kenny Pickett played, better. In the second half. And, I was proud of the Steelers. I like what I'm seeing from Calvin Austin. I think they had to put him back on kickoff returns as well as punt returns.
Well, I don't want to see Elzewski anymore back there. He'll step out at he'll catch the ball and step out at the 5-yard line. Hey, Claudio, your thoughts of the Raiders game?
Real quick, I like what Jim said about Austin being on special teams. I think that's very important, especially when the offense isn't going as well as you would like. Luther, are you sitting down? I'm going to tell you some things that's going to make you a little dizzy. Number one, disappointed in Jimmy G. He threw some bad picks, made some bad decisions, and it's time for him at this stage of his career not to do those things. He's a veteran. He's been to the Super Bowl. He's got to make better decisions. Number two, Kenny Pickett. He made some nice throws. What I did like, excuse me, is I loved when he ran to the left, squared up, and threw a nice shot. I'll even say it was a bullet, somewhat, for a touchdown. I love that. And I also liked there was a couple throws that he was going to get hit. He knew he was going to get hit, and he stood in the pocket, and he threw nice passes. So, having said that, I still don't think he's going to be Kirk Cousins level. But in baseball, you'll get a guy who hit 220, all right? But he'll have a good game. He went 3 for 4. Terrific. Let's capitalize on that 3 for 4 game. What did you do well, hitter, to go 3 for 4, right? And let's work on it so we can repeat it. Ricky Henderson used to say to his coaches, don't just tell me when I do something bad. Tell me when I do something good so I can repeat it. Kenny Pickett did some good things. He's not going to be a guy who throws the ball over the place, but he does have some skill. I'm going to choke by saying all this. So let's boldface accentuate his talents.
Okay. All right. I like that.
Hey, I'm an honest man, Luther. I'm an honest man.
I can't believe you gave Kenny Pickett some credit. It's about doggone time. But what was the change? Matt Canada working more closely with Kenny Pickett this week. But Kenny Pickett was more poised. And what I like, they got him moving on the outside. He wasn't just a stationary target. Got Najee and Jalen moving a little bit more. So I was very impressed. And as I told you guys, he's going to be a top 15 quarterback by the time this season's over. I still believe that can happen as Jim gets out of his car. I don't know where he's going right now. But I think I like what I saw in the defense. What can you say about TJ Watt? 6 sacks in 3 games was just outstanding. Levi Wallace, unlike what Jim says, he's getting pushed by Joey Porter Jr. So he's making some plays, 2 big interceptions. I was very happy for him. Hopefully, he can do the same thing. But it was just a great team win. I like what they did. Defense is carrying the team. Hopefully, offense continues to pick up. Got to get George picking the ball more. As I told you, Jim hates him, but they really miss Deontay Johnson on the offense. He's a guy that runs great routes, and he's always open. He doesn't always catch the ball, but he always runs great routes to get open. So they're missing him sorely, but I think they can win today, go on a 3-game winning streak. That's pretty impressive after the way they looked after the San Fran game. Once again, I like the way Coach Tomlin's got this team moving in the right direction after a very tough loss. All right, Claudio, let's start with you. What do you have for us in your Claudio's Huddle Up?
In baseball, Whitey Herzog and Billy Martin and Don Shula. Don Shula used to love to run the ball when he had Morris, Zonka, and Kick. But whenever he had Dan Marino, what did he do? He threw it. Whitey Herzog and Billy Martin, when they were with Kansas City, respectively the Yankees, they had a little power. But when Billy Martin went to Oakland, what did they have? 1982, Billy ball, small ball, bunts, hit and run, steals. Whitey Herzog, when he was in St. Louis in 82, but they had Willie McGee and Coleman and Ozzie Smith and those guys, they could fly. So what did he do? He transitioned over to a running game. Matt Canada, forget about all the movement and the jet sweeps and this and that. Let's see what Kenny Pickett can do well. Like you said, Luth, get him outside a little bit. Use the backs more out of the backfield to receive the ball. Use those tight ends more. Use what you have, in other words. Martin and Herzog and Shula, they saw what they had, and they utilized it to the best of to the team's ability to benefit the team, not to benefit themselves. Okay? I'd love to have 7, 8 guys who can hit the ball 400 feet. But if you don't, then you get guys who can bunt, steal, hit, and run. You adjust your coaching style to the personnel that you have. Let's see what Kenny Pickett does well. Let's see the players that surround him, what they do well, and let's put that in. Don't just, what do they call that? Square peg in a round hole, whatever. Don't do that. Use what you have and use them to the best of their ability. If they do that, if Canada does that, which is common sense, if he does that, the Steelers' offense is going to be pretty damn good. The defense is already excellent for the most part. I shouldn't say excellent. It's good. They can make some noise.
Okay. All right. I like that. Smokin Jim, what do you have for us in your first and 10, Smokin Jim?
Yeah, great job, Claudio. Yeah, I tell you what, man. It's so exciting right now in college football. So many great quarterbacks. I watched that USC versus Colorado game yesterday, and I tell you what, 48-41, excitement all over the place. And I tell you what, you're talking about a crossover team with Colorado. You got rappers, you got everybody but Taylor Swift at their games. Man. So very, very, very impressive when I see with the Colorado football team.
All right. Is that it, Jim? Wow. Okay, short and sweet. Listen, man, my Luke's Prophet, man, I had a chance to go out to Allegiant Field, and let me tell you, man, Allegiant Field is amazing. I look at all these other stadiums and compare them to Heinz Field. There is no comparison when you look at them. I mean, it was just amazing. Even the outside, look at that building, just absolutely beautiful, right in the middle of Las Vegas. Jim, I got this for you. I got into the Steelers, the cheerleaders' locker room and got some pictures for you, Jim. Also got a chance to check out Robert Spillane's locker room. Man, I missed that guy. I still remember the hit he gave Derrick Henry at the goal line and gave up his shoulder. Great player. I love him. Glad he's still doing well with the Oakland Raiders. But it was a great time in Vegas. Definitely another stadium that's better than Heinz Field or Acrisure Stadium. But it was a great time. If you get a chance to go out there, make sure you go because you will love it. I was in the press room I had to give a little speech at the Raiders podium, Claudio. I thought of what you would say. But it was a fun time, man. Great time, great arena. I can't wait to go back. I think the Steelers play there again next year, and I plan on going back. And maybe I get you guys to come this time so we could check out a live game again together at Legion Stadium. But great time. Steelers took over the entire stadium, man. It was like a home game again. Las Vegas Raiders have moved so much, they really don't have a strong fan base right there in Las Vegas yet. So every time they play, it's almost like a away game when you got a team that travels like the Steelers, like the Cowboys, or somewhere like that. But great time, man.
Hey, Luther.
Yes.
Hey, Luther. Did the Steelers take over that stadium the same way San Francisco took over Heinz Field?
Oh, man. Oh, I don't know what happened with that. That never happens at Heinz Field, and we let that happen. That was very disappointing. And that's probably why we lost. No, but hey, let's jump to the phone lines real quick. All right. Terry French, what's up, Terry? Has Matt Canada ever developed a quarterback? No, he's been fired everywhere. He's gone, and he probably should have been fired here. But he must have some dirt on somebody. But Jim, Claudio, do you know of him that have ever developed a quarterback anywhere?
You know what? I've said, and Terry makes a great point. What's up, Terry? None of these coaches have developed anybody. Now, I was thinking this morning when Joe Montana came out of Notre Dame, yeah, he was big time, but Bill Walsh helped make him better, okay? And we can go on and on. Anymore, I don't know. Again, I mentioned Billy Martin, how he helped Rod Carew develop in all sports. I don't know how these coaches, again, the owner of our scouting company, James Gamble, says coaches don't coach anymore. They monitor. Well, hell, anybody can do that.
All right, Jim.
Hey, Claudio, one guy, Rowley from USC, is going in 7 years. He had 3 Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks and 1 runner-up in Jalen Hurts. So
Lincoln Riley.
Lincoln Riley is developing quarterbacks out there. So that's at least that's one. And I think that pretty soon Bryce Young will be developing quarterbacks on a high school level.
See, you got to get on Bryce Young. The young man is injured right now. All right, Daddy Kingslayer. What's up, Daddy Kingslayer? He said Kenny Pickett was 16 for 28, 57%. Most of his 235 came off one play in which Kenny didn't look like an NFL quarterback throwing it. I disagree with Claudio. Well, Claudio usually trashes Kenny Pickett. So, all right, let's see. Jason Thomas says, stop all the hate on Kenny Pickett. All right. Frank, why the hell do y'all hate Kenny? Give the man a chance. Wow.
I'm talking about, you know what? Whenever I talk about him, I'm talking about him back even in college to present.
You never liked college.
I don't see the arm strength. I don't see the accuracy. And like I said, I observe what I observe. Now, the last game, he showed, some flickers of ability. Now we got to keep that flame going, and that's where Matt Canada comes in. I see what you did right. Let's repeat it.
Claudio, you compared him at Pitt. I was at the games. You compared him to Dan Marino. And I said, if you do that, he'll never compare to Dan Marino. He's not Dan Marino.
Compared to Dan Marino in the sense of gauging numbers, okay? Who are you going to compare him to?
Nobody throws the ball like Dan Marino. How many guys? You can count on one hand a guy with an arm like Dan. Come on.
Let me explain that. Whenever, like for pro scouting, we have a 20 to 80 Major League Baseball rating scale. Let's just say power. Barry Bonds is an 80. So that's who your gauge is, right? So a 50 means a Major League average. So let's just say McCutcheon was maybe in his prime, say a 54. Okay, this way you have a gauge and something to refer it to. But again, the eye test, and Jim is a pro scout, the eye test, does that ball zip in? No. Does he run? Yes. Is he accurate? No, it's not me who's throwing a bad pass. It's him. I see it. If he, like Kingslayer said, if he was 16 for 28, that's not an opinion. It's a fact.
Claudio, I thought he was more accurate in college. I don't know what happened. He's got to the NFL and his accuracy's not there. That's what's really disappointing.
Hey, Claudio.
Yes.
Hey, Claudio.
He loves repeating himself. Go ahead, Jim.
Hey, Claudio. Booker and Claudio, would you trade T.J. Watt for 3 first-round picks and draft Caleb Williams? I would.
Listen, man, I heard that Colin Cowherd's insane. He wasn't only talking about T.J. Watt. He said T.J. Watt, three first-round draft picks, and George Pickens. No, Caleb Williams is one of the best quarterbacks I've seen at the college level, but that's giving up way too much for him. You have a guy in T.J. Watt that is outstanding on defense, Hall of Fame level. George Pickens, he has Hall of Fame potential. No.
Jim, to answer the question,
no, I would not make that trade. That's too much to give up.
Luther, I agree with you. And to add on, you don't know what you're going to get. You know what you got now.
You do know what you're going to get with Caleb Williams. You're going to get one of the top quarterbacks to come out in the last 5 years. That's what I do know.
Okay, but what about the other two?
What do you
Oh,
mean?
just for him? All that for him?
Yes.
Oh, hell no.
Right. Jim, you would make that trade?
No, never.
I would trade T.J. Watt for 3 first-round picks to get Caleb Williams, yeah.
Well, yeah, somebody does that.
Who's going to
For all we know, he could be like his brother. Next year, this could be his last year before his body breaks down.
He's right there. Jim's right there.
How many Super Bowls are we? Listen, I'm about winning the Super Bowls, and we don't have a Super Bowl winning quarterback or defense.
Oh, that defense is pretty close. The defense single-handedly won a number of games over the last 2 years. You got playmakers on every level.
How would they do against Miami Dolphins?
We don't know. Last year they played close. Last year they almost beat them. We got off to a slow start and then slowed them up. Right now, Miami looks like the number one defense maybe I've seen in years with all that speed, all that 4-3 speed. But how would they do against T.J. Watt, a healthy T.J. Watt? They didn't get that last year. But hey, let's go back to Terry. Since Matt Canada's been OC, the total offense has been ranked 23rd, now 27th. Get rid of that buck. I agree with you. I wanted him going after last year.
Can I make a prediction?
Also, look at what the Cardinals are doing with Dobbs and Conner.
Yeah. Now Luther, can I make a quick prediction? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
First of all, that was a good comment by Kingslayer. The coach from Dolphins, I forgot his name. What's his name?
You know him, Jim. You know his dad. Jim. McDaniels.
I know
his uncle, right?
Yeah, he's going to get too cute and outthink himself. Ooh. And the Dolphins are not going to be the offensive juggernaut that everybody's placing on them. He's going to get too cute for his own good, and there are going to be a lot of turnovers, in my opinion.
Listen, man, he has that offense running. When you got a Tyreek Hill who's unguardable, you got a Waddle who's running a 4-3. You got the running back Raheem. He runs a 4-3. They have more 50-yard plays than anyone else over the first 3 games. That offense is almost exciting. It is almost impossible to stop. The key is making sure Tua is able to survive. He hasn't got hit.
Not to get too cute. Years ago, when George Brett was chasing 400, they asked his manager, Dick Hauser, what are you telling him? What are you saying to him? That a boy, George. You leave him go. I'm telling you, McDaniel's going to try to get too cute because he hears that genius tag, and he's going to come up with all kind of the mad scientists. They have the talent. Yes. Just use that talent. But I'm telling you, he's going to want to get too cute. And the Dolphins are not going to be the offensive juggernaut that everybody says they're going to be.
Okay. All right. Hey, let's jump into it real quick. Steelers offense versus Texans D. Jim, who has the advantage?
Steelers offense.
Okay. Why you want to give a little more? Why? Why do you say that?
No, I don't.
Claudia, Steelers offense versus Texans D. Who has the advantage and why?
Oh, God. Okay. Again, if the Steelers do what they want, which is accentuate what Pickett has, okay, 23 to 25 throws, and that includes hitting Warren and Harris out of the backfield, especially Harris, okay, throwing the ball to them. I think Warren and Harris have to get about 165 yards combined. You have to highlight Freiermuth and Washington. Get Washington in there. Then that opens up the deep routes for Pickens and Austin. That's your game plan. But I'm telling you, you got to get the tight ends involved more and the backs involved more, not just running the ball, but catching the ball. Now, the Texas D, Will Anderson is going to have to not only sack Pickett, but cause him to make some bad mistakes, cause him to throw early. Another guy, I'm going to tell you something who's, I think is, how you pronounce the linebacker's name, Henry Tutu, is very good against the run. He's tough against the run. And that Petrie, I've been right, I think 2 weeks in a row with who's going to get a turnover. Jalen Petrie will get a pick-off. And he's good against the run as well. But if the Steelers do what I said they should do, and Canada builds on what happened last week, eliminates what didn't work, again, the key word this week is accentuate, boldface, what did work, I'm going to give the Steelers the offensive nod.
Okay. Yeah, I like that, Claudio. I think the Steelers can get some things done. Of course, Dan Moore and those guys are going to have to block this Will Anderson. I think he was a stud at Alabama. He's still trying to find his way there. It's going to be tough sledding. But I think they can definitely make some moves against this defense. They got an older corner. They got Shaquille Griffin, who used to play with the Seahawks. I think he can get beat on a couple moves. Steven Nelson is there. So I think we can make some moves. I think we can. I give the slight advantage to Steelers O. Jim, you said you had nothing to say. Now you want to jump in on my time. What, Jim?
I just wanted to remind you that I said Bryce Young would be a bust, and he is. And I said stiff Will Anderson would be a bust. How's he doing so far?
He said
looking stiff, ain't he?
Those guys had 3 games, Jim. What are you talking? How you could? Yeah.
Gail Sears and Barry Sanders only needed a game. How many games they need?
And Jim, I'm not giving up on Will Anderson. I saw that boy out of Alabama. He's getting a lot of the double teams as the best player. And Bryce Young, I'm not giving up on him. He has no help, no running back, no receivers, bad offensive line. I mean, you can't judge him.
Can't touch his toes.
All right. Hey, well, I give the slight advantage to the Steelers against a Texans D that's still rebuilding, young defensive linebackers, and older corners that can be exploited by George Pickens and also a Calvin Austin. Just have to get that playbook developed. And like you said, Claudio, can we get Freiermuth the ball? I understand they're helping out, the offensive line blocking, but we got to get those guys open in the middle of the field. It's an easy throw for a quarterback. Drop it off, get Freiermuth, get Warren involved, and I think we'll be okay. Let's jump to the phone lines real quick. To this. Frank Jackson, McDaniels is an offensive genius. Stop the BS. Canada sucks, and that makes Pickett suck, Jason Thomas. All right. Terry, we need an early lead in this game. C.J. Stroud will be running for his life with Watt and Highsmith. I agree, Terry. If we can get out to an early game and put pressure on that young quarterback, I think we can cause him to get his first interception. He's been putting up some decent numbers. So, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Staying with the topic, let's go to Steelers D versus Texans O. Claudio.
Luther, real quick. Do you think that Washington has worked hard? You mentioned Freiermuth with blocking. I think Washington's done a nice job.
Yeah.
I think the total package. What do you think of him? Do you think they should get him in more?
I love him blocking. I'm still waiting to see if he can catch the ball. I know he was playing behind an all-pro tight end at Georgia. He's still putting up great numbers at Georgia. I like to see him get involved. We saw him pancake Bosa against San Francisco. Let's see, put that big guy in the middle of the field and throw it up to him. Kenny Pickett's been high on a couple passes. This guy's 6'7". He can be high with this guy. I'd like to see him get some action. I agree, Claudio.
Excellent point. Excellent point about a 6'7". He's been high. Excellent point to you. Jim would have never said that, but that was a good point. Okay, now the Houston offense, they have no running game, and this is going to be very similar to the Raider game. Raiders have no running game. They put everything on Garoppolo. Disappointed in Garoppolo needs a running game too. He just can't sit back there and throw again like an Elway, Marino, or those type guys. Okay, or the guy from Buffalo, Allen, or guys like or Aaron Rodgers. Okay, C.J. Stroud, and I do want Jim's opinion because forgive me, Jim, I forgot what you said about Stroud coming out of college. I think he can be big time. Like his feet, like his arm, he can make all the throws. Okay, he can run. I think he can be the total package. I like him a lot, but you do need some help. Pierce, 2.5 a carry. Okay, although I'm going to make a little prediction. I think Singletary is going to have a half decent game, and he needs to have a little bit. He needs to carry. He needs to have about 75 yards rushing today, if not more, for Houston to have a shot. They have good wide receivers. Nico Collins is a great deep threat if Stroud gets the time to throw it. I like Robert Woods. He's pretty solid, but that rookie Tank
Dell.
I like him a lot. He could be trouble today. And the Steelers' defense, I think, besides Watt, okay, and I think, and the defensive line last week, the rookie, whatever, I forgot his name, he was pretty good, okay, and they really haven't been missing, in my opinion, Cam Hayward as much as everybody thought. All right, now I think that they have to focus in on Stroud and go after him full blast. Not worry about the so-called, I even hate the term, splash play. They have to be consistent throughout. They have to play 4 quarters of defense. And what I always say about when Lennox Lewis fought David Tua, every round, or even Mike Tyson, every round, he has to be mentally and physically drained, focus on that round. Because if you don't focus, you're going to get hit with an Oliver McCall shot or a Rock Ramen shot. Okay? They have to not just worry about splash plays. And if they do that, I think it's going to be a long day for the Texans.
Okay. All right. Let me say this, and then we'll get to Jim. I definitely give a big advantage to the Steelers defense over the Texans offense. We got a young quarterback. He looks very talented, but like you said, Claudia, I agree. They have no running game. Stroud can make all the throws, but if you don't have the time, he's not going to be able to get those guys. Damian Pierce has been disappointing as a running back. Tank Dell, a rookie, a young receiver, shows some skills. Robert Woods is a veteran that can make some plays, but nobody on that offense really scares me. C.J. Stroud, maybe in a couple years, will be okay, but I look for him to be under heavy pressure. Watt, Highsmith, really to make it miserable for him. Steelers have a history of really dominating guys. I do like their fullback, Andrew Beck. He had a nice return of 80 yards on a punt. So he has some speed. They really use their fullback. So you've got to look out for him. But no one really fears me on their offense. I think Steelers D can win this game, create a couple turnovers, really get C.J. Stroud rattled back there. And I think we can rely on the defense. Strong running game. Kenny Pickett solid with the passes. And I think we can get our 3rd win in a row against a very young Houston Texans team. Still not satisfied with our offense, but the defense has been carrying us, and I think they do it again. Smokin Jim.
Well,
real quick. Kendrick Green. We know Kendrick Green. He's supposed to be starting this game. So that's even more of a reason I see maybe 3 or 4 sacks from our defense. Kendrick Green is one of the worst offensive linemen I've seen. And if he's starting for you, you're in big trouble. Your quarterback's going to be running for his life. And Kendrick Green, look for him to give up 2 sacks like his name was Dan Moore. Go ahead, Jim.
To answer Claudio's question, I had C.J. Stroud as my number 1 rated quarterback by far coming out this year. I said he would shred the league, and that's what he's doing. He'll throw for 4 touchdown passes today. Steelers want to win; they got to win by 30. And I've seen some good things from Kendrick Green. You guys haven't. He's
what you seen? What good thing?
He's going to be burying people. Offensive line only get highlighted when they get beat or do something bad.
And that was him his whole career in Pittsburgh, Jim.
Yeah,
getting beat.
The 3 games he played so far for the Texans, he's been playing very well, and he's getting ready to bury that second round bust Benson.
Come on.
So, whoever
Benson looked good last week, didn't he? Did Benton look good last week? How did Benton look last week?
No, he didn't look good.
He had a sack. He was stout against the run. He had sacks. He was putting pressure. That was probably.
Like Claudio said, sometimes you go for 3 for 4 when you only.
Man, come on, man, stop, Jim.
Quarterback laid down. I thought it was Zach Wilson laying down. Somebody had to get a sack when you lay down. But hey, listen. Texans was the worst team in NFL history before they got Stroud. A quarterback comes in. I said before, easiest position to play in football.
Stop. And that's insanity.
Position, and he's proven me right. Unlike Bryce Young, that can't stay healthy, he's brittle.
Their offensive line is terrible in Carolina. Their offensive line is horrible in Carolina. Their receivers aren't good. It's a team game. Yeah, because they got 3 offensive linemen hurt. He wasn't starting at the beginning. They had 3 offensive linemen hurt this game, Jim.
Houston was a horrible team. They ain't been no good.
They're still horrible.
Hopkins and Watson left, and Carolina's always been competitive. That black coach almost had them in the playoffs. They got talent all over the place. But you guys will want to make excuses. The quarterback position is so hard to play. Stroud's going to make it easy, and he's going to rip the Steelers apart today. Stroud's going to –
all right, let's go to the – he's going to be running for his life. Let's hit these comments as we get ready to wrap up. Terry Fritz, I predict no less than 5 Steelers sacks. I like that. C.J. Stroud is already better than Kenny Pickett, Frank Jackson says. Wow. Jason Thomas, C.J. Stroud will be running for his life. I agree. Watt and Highsmith will have a combined 5 sacks. Everybody's saying high sack totals, Jim, just like I was saying. Let's start this off. Coaching advantage, game prediction, Smokin Jim.
Coaching advantage is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay. All right. And another question. Kenny Pickett versus C.J. Stroud, better young quarterback. Who is it?
C.J. Stroud.
After 3 games.
Kenny Pickett's Kenny Pickett was 28. He was ahead of C.J. Stroud at the beginning of the year. Now you got at least slide him down to 29. Stroud is way better already. And there's 6 or 7 quarterbacks that's eligible for the draft next year that's better than Kenny Pickett. Steelers better get them one.
Claudio, same question. Coaching advantage.
I don't know anything about the you have to give it to the Steelers. I don't know anything about the Houston coach.
Yeah. All right, and better young quarterback?
Stroud.
I knew you were going to say that. I didn't even have to ask that question, did I?
Let me ask you something real quick. Who's harder, me on Pickett or Jim on Young?
Oh, man.
I take Pickett over Young.
I think Jim is harder on Young because he's only had 3 games. Jim hated him at Alabama. At least you have a whole track record of seeing him his whole career at Pitt and 2 years at the Steelers. Jim just hates him. Jim hates black quarterbacks.
Jim took Stroud's grandmother to the prom.
Right. Hey, but as far as better young quarterback, it's only been 3 games, but C.J. Stroud has shown a little more than Kenny Pickett so far. I think C.J. Stroud is big time. I think he's a great player, and I kind of agree with you guys. I would take C.J. Stroud. As far as coaching advantage, of course you got to go with the Steelers. Tomlin's been to a Super Bowl. He has a long track record. DeMeco Ryans first year with the Houston Texans, I definitely give it to the Steelers as well. Game predictions as we wrap up. Claudio.
I'm going to go with Pittsburgh 26, Houston 19. And something I forget, they got to use that tight end, Dalton Schultz, a little bit more. So the backfield and Schultz, if the running game doesn't work, then you have to throw to the running backs short. In baseball, if the catcher is really good and you can't steal, do more bunts. Don't just stop moving the game, right? Don't just stop playing small ball. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh 26, Houston 19, and Buswell, the kicker, unbelievable, that guy. He's really kicking with a ton of confidence.
Okay. All right. Let's jump to the comments. Terry French, I agree with Smokin Jim. We better get us one of those quarterbacks. Daddy Kingslayer, the Steelers D will own the day. Steelers win 17-6. Terry says 27-21 Pittsburgh. Smokin Jim, where are you at with this? What's your game prediction?
The great linebacker from the Dallas Cowboys from Penn State that never seems to be able to find a barber shop.
Michael Parsons. What? Here you go.
He took a lot of heat. He took a lot of heat when he said they played down to the level of competition. Steelers will play down to the level of competition this week. I got 35 Houston, Pittsburgh Steelers 21.
Wow, you got a high-scoring game, Jim.
Well, I got 4 touchdowns by Stroud.
4 touchdowns.
Jim, good point. You can say what you want, but they do play a lot of times to the level of their competition. That's a good point by Jim.
All right, well, they're 2-1 doing it so far this year. Frank Jackson says 30-20 Pitt. I'm going to go 26-20 the Steelers. I think we're going to be able to make C.J. Stroud look like a rookie back there. Watt, Highsmith, Benton, all those guys will have some sacks. He's going to be running for his life. Look for Peterson to get a pick as well. Maybe Fitzpatrick. I think we can really pressure C.J. Stroud. They have injuries all over their offensive line. 3 starters are out or badly injured. The defense has to make it uncomfortable. No running game. Young receivers, young quarterback. The defense, 26-20 is what I have it. Fellas, I want to thank all the comments. Any final statements? All right.
Yeah.
Terry, Danny Kingslayer, Jason, Frank, thank you guys all. Go ahead, Claudio. You have something to say, Claudio?
Jim, what do you think of AEW wrestling?
Oh, gosh.
Did he hang up?
Jim
will hang up.
Jim will hang up. Hey, Claudio, great show.
Thank you.
Want to get everybody set. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for everybody tuning in. And we will check you out next time on Steelers Pre-Snap. Have a great day and enjoy the game. Peace.